On here is a video request from a Spencer Charlie. Spencer Charlie goes, video request, do Black Lives Matter, or should we say all lives matter regardless of race, culture, sexuality, etc.? Yeah, no, we should say that Black Lives Matter, that whole unit, or that whole thing is good because, the movement, because the black people get treated differently. Sandra Bland was pulled over by a cop in Texas in a neighborhood, in a town that was historically very racist. And it's all on camera, and she was just aggravated because she was pulled over because she was getting out of his way, but she forgot to signal, and so then he pulled her over, so that was kind of cheesy, and so she yelled at him, and then he pulled her out of the car, and then she's all like getting mad and threatening to sue him and stuff, and then they find her dead a couple of days later in this jail cell. She supposedly hung herself with a plastic bag, but she never had any history of depression or anything, and she's part of Black Lives Matter. And then they got away with it. They totally got away with it. They weren't busted at all. And then you have Tamir Rice, who's that 13-year-old kid who's playing with the gun in the park. And the cop who had already gotten in trouble for like being hyper, shooting somebody or something, doing something crazy, and yeah, he just drives up to the kid, and in 2 seconds killed him. And there were, the kid was just playing with the gun in the park in front of his house. And then there's another black kid who was in a store. I can't remember his name, and he was just playing with a toy gun in the store, and they just shot him. And then there's the black guy, the big black guy who was complaining. He was selling cassettes, and then he was complaining, and the guy choked him out and killed him. And and then how about Michael Brown? He gets shot, and then Darren Wilson says, he was charging me, and then he fell down, and his feet fell up, and then he, like he was a charging rhino. Yeah, and so, and they always, oh man, I can't remember the statistics, but it's crazy. It's like 1,500 people are killed by cops a year. So anyways, but I think more important than saying Black Lives Matter, all you have to do, really, I think, is just to pass the Michael Brown law. Electronics are getting so cheap now that it's not going to be, and I said this in videos all the way since the beginning. It's not really that expensive that, you just throw those things on the cops, and then you know exactly what happened all the time. Cops could bust people for anything, driving high. You can enforce the driving high by proving somebody's too high, there are people who can get too high to drive, and you can prove it in the video because they can't talk and stuff. I think that could fix everything, because then everybody would, if Darren Wilson had a Michael Brown camera on, everybody would know what happened. He wouldn't be able to say anything. So saying Black Lives Matter, I don't even think it's that important if you just get the videos up there. But saying Black Lives Matter and, having the t-shirts and reminding people of that, that's all Black Lives Matter is. It's just reminding people that they deserve just as much respect as the white people, even though black people are culturally more violent and would be more likely to walk away from a cop if you tell them to stop and run away, that kind of stuff. I don't know. In a lot of ways, cops don't have it as bad here as some other places. I remember on the TV in Chile, there were these people who got busted stealing copper out of the ground, and then the cops went to their barrio, their like super poor barrio, the ghetto, to apprehend them, and the whole neighborhood attacked the cops in the cop car and everything. So don't say all lives matter, all lives matter. So it's kind of like you're just saying, it's like a classic modern day racist saying there's no racism now. What? There's no racism. I had a guy say that to me. That guy John Doe did a video saying, because I did a video review of a book written by an ex-slave in the 1800s. All of a sudden, he thought that meant that I was saying there was racism today. And that he had to make a video saying that there wasn't any racism today. It's like, dude, just look at the facts. Look at the drug war. Look at how many people are in jail for drugs. How many? There's like 80% black, but they're only 12% of the population, and we all smoke the same amount of weed. So, yeah, so we should talk about that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't think people should have to make laws to make it kind of make black people scared, because it just makes them mad. If you're scared of black people, then you should just get up and say and share your horror stories of all of your bad experiences with black people. And if people had to do that, I think a lot of people would realize that they didn't have quite as many bad experiences with black people as they might have thought. But anyway, okay, so that's my video on that. How long was that? 5 minutes?